Evening, everyone. Evening, everyone. Sorry about the little wait there. Lost track of time completely with where we were. So, how's everyone's evening going? How's everyone's evening going? Let's get cracking. Let's get cracking and have a chat. What I do, I want to just mute this. There we go. Grant. Should be perfect. So we should be good to go now. So we get a few people build up into the chat. And we get talking about boxing. See about some of the fights this week. And we see how we get going. So, get a few people in here. All right. So, yeah. Billy Joe. I want to ask the question because I haven't asked many people this, right? General consensus on the videos I've done is that a lot of people aren't giving him much of a shot, right? But against Canelo anyway. But I'm not going to be picking Billy Joe. But when I look at Billy Joe, because you got to remember, lads, right? We're talking about styles here. Styles clash, right? Styles make fights. That's just the old adage, but it's 100% spot on. When I look at Billy Joe and I look at his style, now, if this was the Billy Joe who was kind of, just, how do I put it? Just finding his way through some of these fights. And what I mean by that is just someone who was regularly getting out of shape, wasn't training enough, was just, being his usual old self. I wouldn't be giving him much of a shot against Canelo. But Billy Joe seems to be a bit more disciplined. He seems to be a bit like, maybe it's something that just is innate with him and Tyson Fury. Because when these guys have fights against people who aren't perceived to be serious threats, we don't tend to get the best performances out there. Let's just say it like that, right? We don't get the best performances out there. We've seen that with Fury a few times. We've seen it with Billy Joe. But one thing about Billy Joe, when he's on it and when he's got a threat, like I thought the Lemieux fight, when he fought Lemieux, when that was announced, I didn't see that as being necessarily a tough fight for Billy Joe. I knew Lemieux is very, how do I put it? I knew Lemieux is very one-dimensional. He's got two slabs of concrete in his feet. He needs to be standing straight in front of you. You need to literally come to him and decide to have a tear up and just stand right in front of him for him in order to be able to land and do some of his good work. If he doesn't, then if you don't do that and you move and you can box in any way, he is going to be all over the place. So when I looked at that, I thought that's going to be relatively straightforward for Billy Joe. In fact, it was in Canada. I was thinking, if it's close, would they give it to Billy Joe? But I had a feeling he'd win that. He absolutely dominated David Lemieux, right? So that was where there was a threat in there. It was a perceived threat, but ultimately I knew what was going to happen. But ever since then, what has Billy Joe been doing? He's not been doing that. This is the most meaningful fight he would have had pretty much since the Lemieux fight. We're talking 3 and a bit years. 3 and a bit years. Billy, I know this is funny. Billy Ho was a low-life POS who, we all know what that means, by the way. Piece of who will find a way out with the Canelo fight. That's interesting, right? He's saying he finds a way out of the Canelo fight. I'll be the first to say I can't see that. I think this fight is getting announced straight after Canelo yielded, like literally in the ring. Kind of similar to what he did against Golovkin. I go to him. Hashtag GMAS looks good evening. Billy Joe got a better chance. I'm giving him a better chance than most. Definitely. I'm not picking him. No way. I'm not picking him at all. But I'm definitely giving him a better chance than most. Definitely giving him a better chance than most. Yo, big up to Rich. Oh, he says there, Billy Ho has no chance. All right. Well, we'll see. Oh, visual takes. Good to see you, man. Thanks for that. Anytime, bro. Anytime. Big up to Tony as well. Anytime to you, man. What's good, G? It's brilliant, man. It's real good. Big up to Lewis. Hello, all. Or Louis. Brendan. In Bloom. Sorry, in Bloom. Not in... Fuck. Yeah, that's... If we're off to a start like that with names, this is going to go one way. I'm saying if I'm getting a simple one like that wrong. Me and names. Yes, sir. Hashtag GMans rocks. That was a good time and just left a voice message. Just left a message on one of your videos. I thought you said just left a voice message. And big up to Robbie. Big up to you, man. George C, evening. Yeah, hashtag G-Man's Rocks. You got to get that in there. Evening, G-Man in the chat. How's the week going? The week is going well. The week's nearly done. All right. I don't do Thursdays anymore. I just got to get Friday over, and then we're into the weekend. Then we have some fights to talk about, right? We got a good weekend, right? Talk about Billy Joe. We got a good weekend. I cannot wait for Joe Smith Jr. versus Maxime Vlasov. I think that fight is going to be absolutely cracking. And I'm not saying that in terms of I'm streaming it. I mean it in a literal sense. I think that fight is going to be cracking. I don't know who. Don't know who I'm going to pick to win that fight. I still don't know who I'm going to pick to win that fight. That's why I haven't done a prediction video, because I'm going back and forth. I'm going back and forth so much on who I think will win that fight, because Vlasov, coming down from cruiserweight, held his own at cruiserweight. Arguably, you could say he was world level at cruiserweight. Arguably, you know, maybe fringe world level. But he's going to be the naturally bigger guy. Joe Smith is used to being the naturally bigger guy. That's a fight, man. I can't wait for that fight. Joe Stunner, evening to Joe. Fitzgerald versus Fowler being lined up for fight camp buzzing. Yeah, the first fight was good. To Dave, Dean, shout out to you. First fight was good. How is the second one going to go? You see, Fowler, at least he's been active. Fitzgerald, the only fight he's had in the last year was that assault charge he got slapped with. I think he was assaulted, or he was doing. That's the only kind of thing we've seen from Madman Fitzy in the last year. That nickname suits him, by the way. That nickname suits Scott Fitzgerald. That's the only thing we've seen from him in the last year. So I don't know, man. I'm thinking, I don't know. It's a weird one to me. I'll definitely probably still pick Fitzgerald, because I think they're going to get Fitzgerald out. I know Fowler is off this card, because he was either this week or next week he's meant to be fighting. He's off that card now. Man, big up to Nick every time. Big up to G-Man and the chat. Hashtag G-Man's Rocks. If you could, lads, smash the like button on the way in. If you would kindly, just because. Big up to Nick every single time. Billy Joe Saunders, my dude. He definitely has a chance. I don't know. I give Billy Joe a better shot than most. I think a lot of people... You see, here's the thing I noticed, right? And this happens a lot in boxing, right? A lot of times, and I'm not saying this about any of the guys here, I'm just saying in general, a lot of the times fans will pick against the fighter. Now, I'm not picking Billy Joe to win, but a lot of times fans will pick against the fighter because they just don't like that fighter. Do you ever see that? Do you ever see, like, when people would pick, like, Anthony Joshua to lose against Andy Ruiz, like, in the rematch? And I can see why they would have picked against him in the rematch. I can see that. I can understand that. But a lot of people were just saying, oh, because he's a bum. It's like, yeah, but, like, how is Ruiz going to do it? He's just a bum. A lot of people just want to see guys lose because they just don't like them. There's no real, like, they're kind of emotional. A lot of them are emotional. I remember that with Eubank Jr., you know, when he was up and coming, or, you know, when he was doing his work on ITV, they were like, oh, I want, you know, Arthur Abraham to beat him. Why? Because he's cocky. All right, but what makes you think Abraham's going to win? You just will, because he's cocky. A lot of it's wishful thinking. So we need to see how that goes. I missed a few guys. Yo, shout out to Intangible. Don't think Billy Joe is a great fighter. He's got to work. He's a good world-class fighter, but he's not improved. More to suggest a decline. Do you know what, Intangible? That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm thinking. I'm wondering, has Billy Joe left it too late? What I mean by that is, like, I know Billy Joe is still quite young. He's only about 30, 31. But, like, think of it like this, right? When he won his world title, he was, what, 26? 26 to 30. You would imagine that someone like Billy Joe, they're his peak years, right? They're his prime years. And he really spent them making headlines for a lot of the wrong things, you know? Making headlines for a hell of a lot of wrong things. We all know what those things were. I've seen Ade done a video about Billy Joe. I haven't actually seen the full video yet, but he was asking, should Billy Joe give up social media? Billy Joe, right? I don't really like social media and stuff like that, but Billy Joe is someone who, him on social media, I mean, some of the things he finds funny, and some of them are quite funny. You know, the going with the crackhead was a bit far, but you know what people are like nowadays. That's just asking for trouble with some of them. So maybe it just needs to think a bit more. What's the crack, Drew? Love these live streams from Rush. Oh yeah, big up to Luke and McCann from Rush. Rush is actually really nice. Rush is a nice part of Dublin, right? Swords is good though as well. Swords is good, but Rush is nice. I give Rush that the credit. You know, it's small, but it's nice. I like Rush. It's good. Big up to you, man. Dave Allen's last brain cell. Great name, lads. Absolutely great name. There's an echo, is there? Okay. Why is there an echo? Give me a sec. I just seen a chat there say there's an echo. Has that been like that for the whole stream, or is it just recent? I'm just making doubly sure. Let me know how that is now. Let me know how that is now, lads. Let me know. We can hear your echo. It's off. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. Don't know where that came from. I know in the background there was something loading, but I don't know. Anyway, that was only on briefly, wasn't it? Yeah, good now. Good now. Decent. All right, I don't know where the hell that came from, but it's good. See, I'm doing this in my bedroom. I don't normally do it in my bedroom. Like these live streams, I normally do them elsewhere, but I got that sorted. That's sorted. Grand. Yeah, it's good now. Grand, we catch up on the chat. Apologies about that. Apologies about that. Let's see there. Just think Canelo was on a different level than these 168 pounders. That's what he wants to get undisputed. It shows when he fights other guys, as he did with Smith. I think, right, for me personally, right, I think that Canelo, he easily has a better chance of being 168 undisputed champion than he does at 160. It's not saying he couldn't do it at 160. I'm sure he could. But Caleb Plant, Billy Joe, Callum Smith, right? Because obviously Benavidez hasn't got a title. Lads, these are not, if you're talking about like pound for pound, these are nowhere near as good as someone like a Charlo. You know, so even Demetrius Andrade, I rate Demetrius Andrade. I think he's a great fighter. We need to see Demetrius Andrade. Like this Liam Williams fight will tell us a lot about Demetrius Andrade. That's a fight I'm looking forward to, by the way, lads. I can't wait for that, right? I'm looking forward to Demetrius Andrade. I think Eddie Hearn said that they've agreed terms on him, basically. And they said that he is basically going to be, it's basically going to be Andrade versus Williams in April in the States, right? I tell you now, right? I tell you now, I am going to love that. I cannot wait for that fight. Demetrius Andrade, for me, this is going to be one of two things. This is going to be either his coming out party, or this is going to be the fight that proves that a lot of people who were saying Demetrius Andrade was off flash and no go, it's going to be one or the other. I think Demetrius Andrade is very good, right? And I think a fight like this is going to bring out the best in Demetrius Andrade, right? We need to see that. So I'm going to be picking him against Liam Williams. I really want to see him put on a good show there against Liam Williams. Seriously. I really do think he can do it. I think he'll do it, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be a good fight. I think we're going to see the best Demetrius Andrade, and I hope we do, right? There's not a shot against Liam Williams. He seems a cool guy. I like watching him fight. I've seen a lot of his fights at middleweight. I've seen a lot of his fights in general. But I think Demetrius Andrade is very good, and I think we need to fighting Kawandakwas, Luke Keelers, guys like that, Seleckis. Fighting guys like that's all well and good, right? But we need to see him in there against people who are really going to pressure him, who are really going to push him. Like Luke Keeler didn't really press effectively when they fought. Luke Keeler's defense was a bit all over the shop. He was really outgunned from the first round, Luke Keeler was. Liam Williams is very good. He's better than Luke Keeler. He probably hits harder, everything. So seeing that is going to be, it's going to be good to see how Demetrius Andrade copes with that. If you could, lads, smash the like button. Smash the like button on the way in if you could. Love 8H. Love 8H8. Highly skilled. And I like that he's a gypsy. That type of mindset for a fighter. That's what Billy Joe said. He said that Canelo's never fought a gypsy. All right. How is he going to cope? He's never fought a gypsy. So he's never fought a gypsy. We'll see how Canelo copes with that. Fair, you could see Billy Joe retiring if he fought Canelo and beat him in May and a rematch in September. If Billy Joe beat Canelo, right, and then they got a rematch in September, I mean, I could see any fighter calling it quits after that because they will have ate for a lifetime. I mean, if you beat, think of that's the incentive with Canelo. Like, there's so many incentives, even if you lose, right? If you go in there with Canelo and you beat him, you're getting a big money rematch at some stage. If you go in there and you lose to him, but you do very, very well to the point where people actually, ask the question, could that have been, a decision the other way? Then, even if you don't fight Canelo, your profile is raising. If you're like, obviously a Triple G didn't need that or someone like that, but if say it was Billy Joe, say he goes in there and he fights Canelo, he loses, but it's a close decision. Some people question it, this, that, and the other. That could benefit him in the long term, even though he doesn't win. Could benefit him because it could get him some paydays. It could boost his name. Canelo's feet are wide such that he can be turned. If Billy Joe keeps turning Canelo, he has a chance. Yeah, you notice that with movers as well. Like, you'll see, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing with Billy Joe, but you notice that with movers, they do tend to turn a lot. When they're moving up on their feet, they are moving. They're popping that jab and they are trying to turn that fight as much as they can just to get them offset. Canelo on the front foot seems to hit a good bit harder than he does when he fights on the back foot. That's what I will say. That's what I will definitely say. Salute to G-Man and the chat. Timmy, big up to you. Timmy Nealon, big up to you, my man. Great seeing you in here. Great seeing a lot of guys in this chat. Got footage of Billy Joe Saunders training on Instagram. Oh, man. I'd love to see that. See, I don't really use Instagram at all. Like, my Instagram is just like a personal one, but I never even use it, to be honest with you. I don't really like any of them social media networks, to be honest with you, mate. The only thing I really use is Twitter, and I only use it for news. I don't actually do really anything on it. I just use it to get boxing news. If I didn't get boxing news, I wouldn't even bother with that, to be honest with you. Yep. I reckon what they'll do is, this is what they're going to do. They're going to do an announcement straight after that fight. Literally, I mean, probably in the ring. Do you remember when Joshua fought Eric Molina and they had Klitschko there? The minute they did that, the minute they came in to the ring after that was done, it was just like, here we go, Klitschko Joshua, a bit like Triple G when he fought, when Canelo fought Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be something similar to that, I reckon. Billy Joe had 2 decent fights lined up, and he blew it by teaching people how to hit. Oh, yeah, I remember that. The crackhead was silly. That really was silly. But I remember, I don't think the woman thing had anything. I think that was more so just the Rona that kind of screwed that last May. But yeah, I remember that. If Saunders is focused and in shape, he has a chance. I think style problem. I think his style presents problems to Canelo. He will have to fight perfectly. That's the problem with Saunders winning decision, though. You see, there's 2 very important things that I keep pointing out, and actually it's more so important now, right? One thing is Canelo on DAZN, and this is just fact. Apart from the fights where he's dominated, like Callum Smith, the scorecards have been a lot more reasonable, let's just say, to the opponent, if you notice that. And with Canelo in the past, right, when he was on HBO and when he was on Showtime, okay, he was in the middle of contracts. All right, they were like, and as in that he was in fight deals with them, so it was very much in their interest to keep him on. Like with the scorecards in the Mayweather fight, I think was he at the end of his Showtime deal, or was he looking to re-sign? But then he went to HBO, and the scorecard stayed the same. So Canelo's scorecards were always on those major platforms, were always crazy. Since he's been on DAZN, they've been a lot more reasonable. And now, but he's on, I think, a 2-fight deal with Eddie Hearn. He could go elsewhere after the next fight. They might not. They might just be like, well, hang on a sec. We don't need to do you any favors because you're not going to be sticking around here, in 2 years' time. You could be, fighting on your own platform. You could be fighting, God knows, you could fight on ESPN next for all we know. So I think that's one of the reasons why DAZN, at least from, you can look at that Kovalev fight, right? That was close. That fight was close before the stoppage, and it was close on the scorecards. The Jacobs fight was close. I thought Canelo won, definitely. But it was still, we've not seen any 118, 110 scorecards where there shouldn't be, if you know what I mean. Like, I think we saw one in the Billy Joe or the Callum Smith fight. That's different. Canelo won damn near every round. But we've not had any close fights with Canelo where it's just been like, all right, this is a close fight. Oh, 119, 109, Canelo. What? No, we haven't had that. Hope Joe Smith Jr., he's still improving. He was great against Alvarez. Yep. Joe Smith against the late Alvarez looked very... Joe Smith against Jesse Hart was fantastic. I can't believe one judge scored that for Jesse Hart. I mean, that was a disgrace. They really did want to rob Joe Smith Jr. He won every single round against Jesse Hart. Yeah, like Joe Smith. I think Joe Smith will win, but it's going to be... Oh, man, it's going to be so tough because this is a good fight. I can't wait for this fight. Cannot wait. Still think Canelo gets taken out by Beterbiev, but can't see him getting beat at 168. No, I think he'll... With Beterbiev, right, he's coming to the stage now where we may... And it's sad to say because he's really not... He's not maximized his potential between, inactivity, promotional disputes. I think if we start seeing chinks in Beterbiev's armor, someone like a Canelo might say, you know what, mate, I'll take that fight. If we see serious chinks like in his armor, like if he goes in there with this guy he's fighting, I forget the guy's name, it's his mandatory, I believe, and if we see him really not struggle, but definitely look like he's aged a bit overnight, we may see a lot more people more willing to fight him. Gee, man, not sure if you've done a prediction yet, but who do you got? Warrington versus Lara. I mean, anyone, and he says, chat, Limo says, chat, who do we have? I mean, mate, Lara's beaten literally nobody. Josh Warrington is probably going to stop Lara, I reckon. I reckon that this is just a kind of little showcase for him before that Kanzu fight. Definitely, Josh Warrington's going to win that fight. And I would imagine most people in the chat would say the same. It's just a little run out for Josh Warrington, to be honest with you. Look, I like watching Josh Warrington fight. I know he's not the biggest puncher in the world, but he's fun to watch. He's got good skill set, throws a lot of punches. And he's one of them fighters who's deceivingly good. Like, I always remember, I thought he beat Lee Selby before that fight happened, but I didn't think he beat Frampton, or he would beat Frampton, I should say. And he blew Frampton out of the water. And I've seen people pick out of hate. Yeah, a lot of people do that. A lot of people would say if they don't like this fighter, oh, he's not going to win. Why is he not going to win? I just won't. He's a dick. Like, yeah, but come on, man. What? That doesn't mean anything. Joe says, I'd give Saunders a far better chance at middleweight than super middle. 100%. 100%. I'd give him a better chance, Joe, at super or at 160 than I would at 168. More natural at that weight. It's faster at that weight. He's just all around better at 160. 168. Some fighters say, oh, when I move up in weight, I feel a lot better. I feel this, that, and the other. Yeah, but that might not be, you might not be struggling. Like, I don't understand fighters who struggle to make weight, but you can make it too easy. If you're making it too easy, there's a problem. There's a problem. And if you're fighting way over your fight weight, and I think 168, I don't think you should ever have gone to that weight. Obviously I know why, it was an easy title, but damn, I think that 160, Billy Joe's best weight. Alex Jones with the super chat, big up to you, man. 127, right? He's taken the 32, put the 32% in that YouTube take for the super chat. Thank you. See, he wanted to give me a quid, but he gave me 127 because I'm not sure if that's exactly the 32%, but he wanted to make sure YouTube didn't take the rest. Bit like Tyen Boot with the 79 pence. That was funny as fuck. Someone don't make a donation, 79 pence to Tyen Boot. Thank you for the 79p. That was funny. 79p. That was funny as hell. You didn't watch the video yourself. We're at the echo questions. Okay, yeah. Well, we sorted that echo out there. No need to worry about that. Got Joe Smith Jr. 60-40. Straight right carries power. Just ask Alvarez. Just ask Fonfara. Because do you remember, they brought Joe Smith in as that opponent against Fonfara, although nearly 5 years ago now. Fonfara was seen as the guy who was going to win that fight. Remember that Joe Smith was brought in as this little unknown guy. Fonfara looked good at the start of that fight. He was making Joe Smith look, because Joe Smith, it was crude back then, very crude. And what happened? Walked into one right hand, and that was all she wrote. Wasn't really. He got back up, but he was done. And Joe Smith Jr. finished him off. Took Fonfara out and around. I mean, that was what you call And the ironic thing is, Joe Smith Jr. beat Fonfara, but Fonfara got a title shot against Adonis Stevenson instead. And making that what you will. Smith Jr. ended up getting the Barrera fight instead, and he actually lost that fight against Sullivan Barrera. Billy Joe, damn, he's in good shape. Hope he stays like that. An in shape Billy Joe Saunders. This is good. See, this is what I like to hear, because look, Billy Joe has made loads of mistakes in his career, but one of the biggest things, and I hate seeing fighters, especially with fighters with potential, do this, is when they finish a fight. When they finish a fight camp, they finish the fight, they have their fight, and then all of a sudden you see them a few weeks later, and they could be fighting in, say, 6 months' time, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm about, 3 stone overweight. It's like, come on, mate. Come on. Or maybe not 3 stone overweight, but they're way overweight. It's just like, come on, mate. Seriously, the whole purpose of you being a boxer, a professional, is to stay in shape. Like, I mean, what's the point in coming into camp knowing for the first few weeks you're going to have to lose weight when you can just be on point and focus on, getting the benefits of everything done? Anyone think Deontay Wilder will fight again? I can't see it myself. I'd be amazed if Wilder. I genuinely would be surprised if we see Wilder fight again. I've given my 2 cents on him. I've said enough. I won't be doing no more videos, at least for the time being, on Deontay Wilder. I've had my say, and that's the end of that. He's just, the man is just, I don't know. As you can see, like, the picture on StreamYard is of Deontay Wilder looking surprised. I like that picture. It's actually funny. But Jesus, Wilder, I don't know, man. He needs that guy. I just don't know. Canelo versus Ward. Oh no, I take Andre Ward in that fight, Tommy. Definitely, I take Andre Ward in that fight. Prime Andre Ward, man. Prime Andre Ward was good at 168. Man, he would have beat Canelo. In my opinion, I think he'd beat Canelo. What do you think what do you think Canelo will do if he beats either Billy Joe Saunders, Plant or Charlo? I reckon Caleb Plant. I reckon they'll try and do Caleb Plant. I think that, I reckon Caleb Plant will be next. They'll try and do like a 1-fight deal or something like that with PBC if they can get it. And then undisputed, we'll see what he does from there. They might try and coax Charlo up. He might do a 2-fight deal with PBC and try and coax Charlo in for, a fight at 160. Robbie, thank you so much, mate, for the £5. Thanks for all the hard work you've been putting into growing your channel and giving us regular updates, bro. I catch your videos every morning. Man, appreciate that. That is a great message to read. £5. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, man, I don't mind. It's not the only issue, right, I had was that video I uploaded this evening. That should have uploaded this morning, but believe you me, YouTube was not being friendly to me this morning with the upload speed. It was like it was slow as hell. I don't know what was wrong. But yeah, and of course, every morning I try and get videos out to you guys. It's a habit now. Don't even think anymore, lads. I know in the evening, record, upload. Well, actually upload the videos in the evening. I just mark them as unlisted, which is handy. You upload them in the evening. I upload them at night, mark them as unlisted, and then all I do then is just list them. And then they update in your subfeed, which is a nice little trick because it means you can upload in bulk then and you don't have to worry about how quick it's going to be. It's good. But appreciate that, Robbie. Thank you for the £5. Judge Durham, smash the likes, the judge says. Big up, man. Smash the like button. Tony says, do you think Canelo could beat any heavyweight in the top 30G? I doubt it. I doubt it, but like you say there, like someone like Lucas Brown, who was slow, who was over the hill, probably. Like someone like Lucas Brown, you'd probably say, yeah, he probably could beat him. I'm sure there are heavyweights out there that if you put Canelo in the ring with them, like a Lucas Brown, even though they say like it comes to a point where size becomes so much of a difference. If you're someone like Lucas Brown, who was absolutely over the hill, then, I definitely say, like, look, and over the hill is an understatement with Lucas Brown. I'd be like, yeah, he probably could. He probably could, I mean, put it like this, right? Say he sparred Dave Allen. He'd light Dave Allen up like a Christmas tree. Just in my opinion. You not schedule uploads? No. I kind of schedule them based upon when I just wake up and when I decide to click on list, basically. Now I just upload in the evening and unlist them, and then just pop it on pop it on public, and then it just updates in the subfit. Benjo, buy a needle and thread and fix the trousers. See, right there, right? Man, I like the ripped jeans. Someone asked me that ages and ages and ages ago. Like, I mean, like a year ago. And they were like, I think it was after I was on with Ade. And they were on my channel. They were like, yeah, you make good content. I just have one question. I said, well, what's up? Why do you wear ripped jeans? It's like, right. It's a long story. I like them. And there's your answer. Right. And I don't like, look, believe you me, I do have normal pairs of jeans in the house. They just don't fit. They're just not me, right? They're just, I like the ripped jeans. We'll leave it at that, right? I like the ripped jeans. And believe you me, I've seen people way worse who wear way worse ripped jeans than I do. Even with them ones I wouldn't even goddamn wear. But I like the ripped jeans. When I went to London, I went into Topshop. Of course, I got a pair of ripped jeans. Had to be. Could Canelo be drained by the time? No. No, I think at 168, he's fine. I think that's his ideal weight. He's already trained. Actually, to be honest with you, he's already trained in sweatsuits. So it obviously shows that that boy is cutting some serious weight. How he ever made 154 a couple of years ago, I'll never know. But that boy is cutting some serious weight. But I reckon he should be fine come fight night. Swords is good. Going to listen back while doing my night shift. Oh, you're a security guard in the pavilion? Seriously? Man, Jesus. I used to work in the chemist in McKay's back there many years ago. I didn't like it. The security guards were all cool. They were all cool to your boy. They were all cool to your boy, but I didn't like that job. It wasn't fun. I didn't like it. But Pavilions is a good spot. Pavilions is a good, literally, right? If anyone's ever been to Westfield, is it Westfield or West? Yeah, I think it's Westfield. You ever been to Westfield in London, right? That was open in, like, I think the mid-2000s, right? The shop that my boy Luke is there was on about Swords Pavilions. They literally got themselves tracing paper and traced it. I remember going in there last year when I was in London and walking around like Westfield. I was like, I'm in Swords. I'm back home. This is literally, it's bigger. I'll admit that it's bigger, but it's like a carbon. It's like a photocopy. It's almost like a splitting image of Swords Pavilions. I'm like, here, they use tracing paper to design. They obviously went to Swords, because it's the image of Pavilions. Remember when Liam Williams drew a tie-in boot? Big up to tie-in boot. I finally got I have my intro that I want, the one that I paid for. And now I have tie-in boot at the start of the other one. So I'm a happy boy. I got 2 intros. Shout out to G-Man Boxing. The first time he done a live stream, I gave him like 2 or 3 super chats thinking, all right, shout out to G-Man Boxing. Yeah, thanks, G-Man. Like, okay, no, all right. Look, calm down. Next one he'll say shout out. Gave him another donate. Gave him another super chat. Yeah, thanks, G-Man. I'm like, okay, all right. No, not gonna lose track of this. One more. I think I gave him like 10 quid in the last one. £10. Shout out, G-Man. Fuck right off. I'm not giving you any more after that. Fuck you. Just say shout out. He just kept saying thanks. I was like, thanks for that. And I gave him 5 quid the other night, and straight away, shout out to G-Man Boxing. Thank you. You could have done that a week ago. Would have saved me a bit of money. Billy Joe moving really good in his training. I'll be honest with you, I've only seen snippets of Billy Joe in training. I have to actually have a proper look. I reckon Billy Joe is going to be in very good shape. I reckon even if Billy Joe doesn't win, this is going to be the sharpest Billy Joe we've seen in years. Obviously, Canelo lost the fight, but this version of Canelo had it been going into that fight, I think it would have been a different outcome. If we're talking about like Canelo now, but at 154, and he wasn't weight drained, Floyd is different, right? Although he's not as big as guys like Jacobs and guys, like Billy Joe, he's more skilled. I don't know. I think that Canelo versus Floyd's always going to be a good fight, but I think that Canelo now, he's better at cutting off the ring. although Floyd's feet are a lot faster, so than the guys he's fighting now, so it might make a difference. Canelo's body attack, his punching power seems better. I think him against Floyd now is a very good fight. You know, if we're talking about 2013 Floyd versus 2020 Canelo, oh boy, and they're both at 154. Oh man, that's a tough fight. That's not a schooling by Floyd. Definitely not. If Andrade beats Williams, his only realistic option is unification with Golovkin because he's with the zone. Yeah, I'm reckoning the same. I reckon that's the route they're going to go down. I reckon Caliplant is going to get the Canelo fight, and we're either going to see Golovkin versus Canelo next year or him versus Demetrius Andrade. Now, Demetrius Andrade, to his credit, has been calling for Golovkin for years. Like, I remember when he was at 154, he was still calling for Golovkin back then. So he's been calling for that fight for a while, for many years. Do you guys think Billy Joe would beat Danny Jacobs? Jacobs over the last few years has really I remember watching his fight against Triple G. Thought he beat Triple G personally. But maybe that was just a style thing. Ever since then, he's really been just getting by in the nicest possible way. He's been kind of just getting by in some of these fights. It's really weird. I think someone like Billy Joe, who's a good mover, might even give... Jacobs is big. He hits hard. But I think someone who can give a bit of movement maybe would have a good chance of beating him. I don't know if I pick Billy Joe necessarily. I probably would, to be fair. I just think Jacobs is a great fighter. He is. But I don't know. I just think maybe we got a bit flattered by the Golovkin fight because he's look at Luis Aries. Just by, moving a bit and trying to survive. He's able to go to 12, no problem. He didn't win, but someone like Billy Joe was more talented than him. I think Billy Joe will be on the zone. Oh, yeah, I reckon that's going to be... That's still a bargain. 199 in pounds and in euros. For those wondering, it's in euros as well. It's €2 or €1.99. For that fight, man, yeah, definitely that's a bargain. It's a good fight, lads. It's a very good fight. On the zone, I'm happy. The narrative is false. Canelo won who he should have won on the cards. He won versus... I think he won against Lara. If we're talking about the second Triple G fight, yeah, I thought Canelo won that. And Trout, that was close, but Canelo won. I gave Canelo the nod in all three. The Lara fight was close, was very close. But Lara ran. He ran a lot more than Canelo. Canelo pushed the action a lot more, and I like guys who push the action. You'll know with me, I favor the aggressor a lot when I'm scoring fights. I think most people know that about me now. When they hear some of my scorecards, they know that I do tend to really favor people who are the aggressor. Because I could be as pure as the pure. I like watching good boxing. I like watching good technique, but I don't like watching a guy go in there and just try and do the bare minimum to nick this round to win. I like seeing guys stamp their authority. I like seeing quality over quantity, unless the quality is just so much so that you can't give the rounds any other way. Like when we watched what was the guy's name? Vasquez versus Ritson. Yeah, Ritson was landing some good shots, but no way. The quality or the quantity was so much by Vasquez. You couldn't give them rounds any other way. No way. No idea how Billy Joe can win in the US. He can't end Canelo, and you can't see him getting the point win. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, Nick. I definitely will be... Look, I'll be picking Canelo to win on points, but I'm thinking, don't be surprised if some of these scorecards are close. That's what I will say. So Billy Joe turned this into a scrappy one. Hug and hold. Fight stick in burst, but looks to frustrate Canelo with dirty tactics. We could very well see it. That wouldn't shock me if he tried something like that, to just try and frustrate Canelo as much as he can. I wouldn't be shocked at all by that. 50 in the chat. If we can smash the like button, for fuck's sake. Yeah, how many likes do we have on this? I try and not ask for as many. 38 likes. Right, lads? Quick one, right? Last time I'll ask. If we can get 2 more likes, we'll be at 50 likes or 40 likes, and I'll be a happy boy. And I won't ask. I promise. All right, 2 likes. Smash the like button, and I won't ask. I'm only catching up from early in the stream now and seeing heavyweight versus Canelo question. You not think pound for pound. Oh man, there we go. I don't think I can do a stream without one shot. The King, Christopher Lovejoy, getting mentioned. He's bankrupt now. I've seen that. I mean, Don King will do that to you. Doesn't matter if you're Mike Tyson or you're Christopher Lovejoy. Don King will do that to you. I mean, Don King, he iced Dell. I mean, Dell is still looking out his window every day because he doesn't know if his kneecaps are going to get taken. That's Don King for you. That's Don King for you. Poor Dell. Don King iced him. I thought that video was funny as hell when he uploaded that. I'll just leave it there. Stop making G-Man ask for those. Judge orders you to. Yeah, I said I wouldn't ask for any more, so I'm saying, did we hit 40 likes? Wait there a sec. Yeah, there you go. The judge did the job. The judge did the job. He's fighting debutante GB member under Sam Jones management. I've seen that, all right, but there's nothing. Is it announced that he's doing that? I seen the guy. Is a guy's name Solomon Densu or something like that? I did see that. Big up to Sam Jones. Sam Jones is actually quite a cool guy as well. I have a lot of time for Sam Jones. He's cool. Meant to be ranked 15th by the WBA. He was ranked 15th by WBA, but he's not ranked now. I mean, Lovejoy. His record is 19-0. I suspect it's probably closer to, seriously, I reckon it's about 8-0 or 9-0. I reckon a lot of them fights never actually took place. If you go and look at BoxRec, yeah, it's his last name I was struggling with, Solomon Darcy's. I actually thought it was Dempsey or something like that. A lot of those guys on his resume, and the little snippet he showed as well, he looked fairly bad. I just want to say, look, Lovejoy is weird, right? Because he's a chancer, but just purely from an entertainment point of view, I kind of want to see him just to see how bad is he, or how is he? You know, watch he comes out and he's got like Wilder type power with a left hook or something like that. Lovejoy calling out Allen retired from retirement again. I don't want to see Dave Allen back in the ring, and Dave Allen has been looking in terrible shape. I mean, Dave Allen's been looking in terrible shape, really bad. I've seen a few people. I don't know how he does it. He absolutely piles the weight on. I've never seen it. He struggled to do 30 push-ups on a live stream with Allen. Lovejoy did. Oh, Jesus. Lovejoy. Your friend messaged Lovejoy about fighting Allen on it. Oh, mate. Lovejoy. That's right. There's a few people who I'd love to get on this channel to interview, right? But I do it, you know me, when I interview fighters and I do it over like PC and all, I do it live. So I let you guys hop in and ask questions. I've done it with Jay Harris. I've done it with Maxie Hughes. I have a few other people who I'm in discussions with, you know, to say the least. Don't know when, but hopefully soon I'll get a few of these guys on. I say guys. But if I got Lovejoy on, and yeah, I'd love to just get Lovejoy on and just see what the chat says. Just be like, right, Chris, I'm going to open it up for the chat. There's like 47 in the chat. Ask him a question and just see what people say. Yo, you fought yourself. Literally, that's what it would be. I'd say he gets savaged. And if he got savaged, I'd never get an interview either. Dave Allen will be back once he gets bored eating lion bars. Oh, man. Dave Allen, I swear to God. I swear to baby. I swear to God. Broken nose boxing. Oh, did I not big up? Oh, fuck. Sorry, man. Before I do anything, big up to Chris, broken nose boxing. I forgot that. I seen a few of your questions in the chat, but I actually didn't see it, man. Big up. Sorry about that. Lads, Chris has a channel. Great channel. A lot of predictions on there. Go and check out Broken Nose Boxing if you could. I completely forgot to actually shout you out earlier. Sorry about that, mate. You may be right. I think he mentioned it in an IFL interview. I think Lovejoy was talking to Eddie. Well, he wasn't talking, but he was calling out Eddie Hearn saying, "Oh, I'm ready for someone. I'm ready for, whoever." I mean, Lovejoy. Dave Allen, I think I heard him say that he doesn't think Lovejoy will ever fight again. I mean, God only knows. Lovejoy seems like he just wants that one decent payday. When I say decent, by his standards, I mean 10K would be a decent payday at this stage. Seriously. But yeah, you have to ask Don King first. Oh no, I don't want to ever ask Don King anything. I mean, I literally, like, call it whatever you want, call it a sixth sense intuition. But when I watched Stavern versus Brian, I was like, I'll cover this fight, I'll do a review. And then I was like, nah, I won't. And then all of a sudden I just started thinking, this is Don King. I wonder, does he even know? Because think of it like this. The last time Don King put a standalone card on, how long ago was that? Boxing YouTubers there weren't as many, and they weren't critiquing fights as much as they are now. I was thinking, and I was like, I wonder, does Don King even know about boxing YouTubers these days? And would he actually start copyrighting, thinking we have footage, even though we say no footage? And lo and behold, I think Dale uploaded, Mark uploaded a stream. Mark beat Don King, though, big up to Unrivaled. He beat Don King. He got that copyright strike taken down. Dale got iced. I think a few others as well did. So I was like, yep, definitely the right thing not to cover that fight. So Showtime already tried to, and I was only starting out when Showtime copyrighted me for the Wilder fight. So I learned a lesson from that, and I wouldn't mind, but when I covered the Wilder Brazil fight and I got a copyright on and I got copyrighted by Showtime for the Wilder fight, I done Gary Russell versus, I think, Kiko Martinez. And they were fine with that. They let that stay, but nope. Oh no, couldn't do they wouldn't let me have the Wilder fight. I didn't know how to launch a counterclaim, so I just let it. It's long gone. It went in like August 2019. 2019, so it's long gone now. Top 5 favorite boxing channels right now, G. Oh boy, I watch a lot of boxing channels. In no particular order, right? Top 5. You asked for top 5, right? Hatman, I love Hatman. Ade, Unrivaled. This is my opinion. Dell. Who's number 5? I'm gonna say it's a toss between D, Speaker Mind Sports, and Broken Nose. Seriously, I wouldn't split them. Both great channels. These are some of the channels I watch. Like, other channels I like as well. Love Ring IQ. Love Beats. I like watching Beats. The Wire. Richard The Wire is like, I remember, like, Richard The Wire was just funny. I just love The Wire. There's so many, man. There's a lot of good channels I like watching, but that would be kind of roughly my kind of top 5. Roughly my top 5. May change, but that's my top 5. Yeah. Broken Nose, definitely worth subbing. Consistent, very good 60-second predictions. You see, I couldn't do a 60-second prediction. I couldn't do a 60-second prediction at all, because I just think I'm talking to him. Well, like, you see my predictions, they go way overboard. They go like 10 minutes. Chris Andre is great as well. I've mentioned Chris Andre. I watch a lot of his videos. I've been watching Chris Andre since the summer, and I think Chris Andre is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. He really is. If he uploads a 20-minute video and he's just talking about anything, I will listen to it happily, no questions asked, because he's just so insightful. And just the way he communicates is really, really good. So when I listen to someone like Chris Andre, I'm like, if he's talking about, like, I might not always comment on it, but when he's talking about something, I'm just like, yep, I'll gladly listen to it. I'll listen to it, and I'll listen to it again. There are some guys out there who are just, like, I think, and boxing squads as well, by the way. There's a lot, like I have so many YouTube channels. Like, it's hard for me to actually say, like, these are the best. Like, there's so many good channels out there. Like Right Hook Boxing is real good as well. There's just so many of them. Like Mini Max, there's so many channels out there. Like, I mean, I hate it when people say, like, I don't know, I obviously know I don't mean this in a bad way, but like, I don't like when they're like, put them in chronological order. Like, all of them are good. They all have good channels. I really can't, say to or from. I really can't say to or from. A lot of them are very, very good. Johnny Boy, there's so many good channels out there. There really are. There really are. There's so many good ones. I was gonna answer a question there. I forget now where it was. Stay off the LDBC. I mean, I used to watch some of them guys back in the day, like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. Not anymore. I didn't even know what the LDBC was until a few years ago. But I remember actually when I got into listening to boxing YouTubers was Hatman. And I remember, I think it was it David Price or who was it? It was way back. It was like it wasn't David Price. It was 2014. Might have been David Hay. It was basically, I forget the actual post-fight, but it was a post-fight review he did. But I was looking for the footage. And you can tell I was real, like, a bit simple at the time because I clicked on Hatman's video thinking, oh, is this highlights of the fight? Not reading that it obviously said no footage. And I was like, oh, it's just a guy talking over an image. But I was kind of taken in by his voice. And I ended up listening to it. And I was like, I didn't know boxing. I didn't know people on YouTube reviewed boxing fights. So I ended up listening to a lot of Hatman's, like, videos then because at the time I was real, like, I was kind of just finding my feet as being a hardcore. So I was like, I'll listen to more of these. And it just went on and on. I remember some guys I used to listen to. Like, anyone remember Boxing Gossip? He was a good channel back in the day. He was actually a real good channel back in the day. I'm only about 3K subs off catching him. Like, it's mad, isn't it? And I used to love Boxing Gossip back in the day. I used to listen to him all the time. You know? He was real good. I miss Boxing Gossip. It's been nearly 3 years since he uploaded. At this stage now, I'd say he's long. I'd say look big up. What was his name? Was it Tom? It was Tom, wasn't it? That was his name from Boxing Gossip. I can't see him coming back anytime soon. But yeah, no, I remember. It was Tom, wasn't it? Boxing Gossip. I think that was his name anyway. It was Tom or something like that his name was. But he was real good. I used to love listening to his interview. I used to love listening to his channel. I used to listen to Box Talk with Addy and Ryan. I didn't even know Addy had Box Talk with. I thought after him and Ryan stopped, he stopped altogether until Hatman mentioned. I was like, oh shit, Addy has a channel. I didn't know that. So there was good ones. Boxing Gossip podcast panel was real good. Yeah, like Boxing Gossip. Like, think of it now. How many guys? Like, look at Mark. Mark always does panels. There was guys like D Jeff, great channel, Speaker Mind Sports. I love D. I love listening. Is he D, right? I love listening to his chats. I love listening to his like podcast and all that. I could listen to D talk on his own. Like, I listen to him talk when he's just on his own. Like, I know he likes getting the panels on, but I like listening to D just talk normal. You know, I like listening to him talk all day. Like, so there's so many. Like, look at that, like counterpunch boxing. Like, that's why I always say, like, when I do like my recommended YouTube channels, which I do from time to time. The reason I don't do them as frequently is because it's like, how many can I get in? Like, Intangible, he has a good channel as well. Intangible, I think, is in the chat. There's so many good guys out there, and I'd listen to them all. You know, there's so many good guys out there who have boxing channels. It's just like, how do you, like, it's like, oh my God, like, I just can't. I feel it's almost unfair for me to say these are the best because they're all good. You know, it's nice to get named in amongst them as well. Like, I think, holy shit, man, I'm like a fucking lad from Dublin. I'm getting named amongst these guys. I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy. Remember when Addy and Ryan did Box Talk? Box Talk was great, man. Box Talk was great. I missed that. I always ask Addy now, like, do you ever speak to Ryan and stuff like that? Whenever I chat to him, it's Box Talk was good. Boxing got to 7K subs, nice target. I could easily hit that by the end of the year, easily. I could easily. This is just me. This is not me being cocky. I could easily hit that from the end of the year. Seriously, I could easily hit that by the end of the year. I reckon. I can imagine. You ever hear Ty and Boot say that? But anyone ever remember the Ty and Boot video about Kella Sauerland? And he's like, he's sniffing a certain something off those ringside girls. I can imagine. I'm currently in G-Man's top 5 world rankings. I'm going to sit on that until I get around it. Yeah, man. YouTubers boxing, like what? World Boxing Super Series for YouTubers. The Judge, good night, guys. Been a pleasure. Big up to Judge Durham every single time. Where's Tony? I've seen Tony, actually, Boswell, give me a shout. Big up to Tony. Much respect, G-Man, and the chat. Big up to you, my man. Big up to you. I actually seen it earlier, but I forgot to click on it. Big up to you, man, every time. I'm glad you're here. Oh my God. Jake Paul versus G-Man. Oh my God. That guy, I swear to God, man. He's that Jake Paul. I never even heard, like, this is how kind of out of touch I am with certain things. I never even heard of, I heard of KSI. I never heard of Logan Paul. I never heard of Jake Paul. There are YouTubers. It's mad, right? Like, there's a YouTuber I watch, an Australian guy. He's not a boxing channel. He just does, he kind of does his own documentaries. He's actually really good. He's called Sunny V2. And he just talks about like YouTubers who basically gone tits up, basically big YouTubers who've gone tits up, but does them in documentary style formats. He's actually really good. It's actually, his channel is fun. And I remember this time last year, he'd like 5K subs. He's got like 220,000 now. But I watched some of his videos, and it's mad. Like, that guy is proper he's in touch. He knows all these big YouTubers now, and he's naming guys who've like a couple of million subs, and I'm looking, I'm just like, what? Who the hell are these guys? How do you know? And I'm just watching the videos because they're entertaining, and I'm like, who the hell are these guys you're talking about? And some of them are like, like millions of subscribers. Like, I'm talking 10 million plus. I'm just like, and they're doing crap views for 10 million subs as well, by the way. Like, they're doing like 50K views a video, which is good, yeah. But when you have 11 million subs, that's not really good. What would be your UK top 5 pound for pound? Oh, Jesus, man. Jesus Christ. Over the last 10 years. Jesus Christ, man. 10 pound for pound over the last 10 years. Jesus, man. I'll have to come back on that. That would take a while. That would take a while, man. I will come back to you on that, Peter Johnson. I set up an interview with Counterpunch with Coach Asgar. He was buzzing. Sorted with G-Man, Billy Joe. He was buzzing, sorted with Billy. Man, if I could get the Coach on here again, I'd gladly interview him on here. I like it when he's in the chat as well, but if he can come on here, he's always welcome. I would love to get him on. I'm up for interviewing coaches and fighters, even managers if they come on, but like, it's hard, It's hard to get the interview, especially when you're not like IFL or something, that when you're just kind of a semi kind of decent YouTuber, a growing YouTuber. It's hard, man. If IFL messaged some of these guys, it'd be like, come on. It's like, yep, Grant. I was like, yo, come on. The G-Man channel, like Jay Harris, big up to him straight away, was like, yeah, mate, I'll come on to your channel. And big up to Jay Harris is cool, man. Jay Harris is a real, real cool guy. A lot of time for Jay Harris, but he's real cool. He's real cool. G-Man versus Jake Paul. G-Man will have Ade. Oh, no. G-Man will have Ade and Unrivaled in his corner. That's grand. Mark's a heavyweight, so I can call on him. Like, if things get tough, I'll just be like, right, tag team, get Mark in. Bare knuckle straightener. There we go. G-Man giving all the exclusive when it comes to England. See, like, when I'm working, like, all I'm doing is I'm sat at home. I sit in my bed. Well, I work in my bedroom. I literally am on the desk where I work at now, just using a different PC. And I literally would be between work and I'd be checking my phone for, like, if I get text off someone to say, here's news breaking, or if I'm on Twitter, I'm constantly checking to see what I can do. And what I do is, like, say, like, news breaks during like lunchtime. I'll record a video on my lunch break. I just won't upload it until the day is done. And then that's kind of how it is. Who would I rather? Hearn, or who would I rather interview? Hearn or Arum? Definitely Eddie Hearn for the banter. Definitely Eddie Hearn. Just for the banter. You have some good crack with Eddie. Bob Arum, I'd interview him. I loved it. I'd take either or, but I just interview Eddie Hearn just for the banter. All I know of Jake Paul is his name. I'm no spring chicken, but what the fuck is this fetish for YouTubers? What's the appeal? And what are they doing in a boxing ring? I don't get it either, Joe. Honestly, like, I don't get it either. Like, and look, believe me, I didn't know who the hell Jake Paul was till last year. I didn't know who the hell he was. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal of the YouTubers thing either as well. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Some of them YouTubers, I swear to God, the really, really big, like a couple of million, some of them are all over the place. Like, some of them, like, they have issues, some of them. Serious, like some of them are real strange. And I've only learned that from watching some of like that guy Sonny V2 from spilling some of the gossip on some of those YouTubers. It's like, what the fuck, man? Some of these have serious issues. Sub to too many Jackson channels when you finish work, get through all notifications. I listen to a lot of the guys while I'm in work. So like I just have the phone. If I'm not on it, I just have the phone sat there just playing the guys. So I'll listen to some Adele's, catch up. If I'm not in one of Mark's streams, I'll catch up on one of his, get a 60-second prediction video from, Broken Nose. Listen to Beats, Unrivaled, whoever, Hatman. I haven't actually listened to Hatman's video on Mark Reeland today. I have to listen to that actually. But I'll listen to it after, probably. But yeah, man, guys like that. No, Mitchell, how's man? How's things? It's good, man. It's good. Did you watch that panorama? No, man, I didn't watch it. I have no real intention of watching it. I knew what I was going to get with it. It's the BBC. BBC and in Ireland we've RTE. They're both just, yeah. Look, without going on a tangent, both companies are just horrendous. I knew what I was going to get. They were just going to crap on boxing. And you Barry McGuigan there playing holier than thou when he's robbed fighters. He's taking money off fighters. And for me, he's just sore that his fighters went to MTK and they're not with him. I love the fact he's playing holier than thou when he's been in court with fighters. That's what I say. It's just ridiculous. It's just, look, boxing. What was the guy's name who Sonny Liston was, the mobster? What was his name? Oh, what was his name? Frankie Carbo? I could be saying it wrong, but it was something like that. I mean, it's known. Like, I mean, Primo Carnera in the 30s was bought and sold by the Italian Mafia. Was the Italian Mafia or the American Italian Mafia? I'm not sure. But look, there's nothing new. There's nothing new to me. Boxing Gossip was a great channel. That was the first I subbed to. Yeah, I went. The Hatman was the first I ever subbed to. Hatman was the first box channel I ever subbed to. Loved his, just don't know what it was. I just liked his just whole style of it. And then I just went from there. I just started subbing to loads of people. Beats and Ring IQ. Ring IQ's interview with Lou DiBella was great. I wish, you see, they're the kind of interviews I'd love to get. Like, imagine getting Lou DiBella on your channel and interviewing him on StreamYard. Like, they're the kind of things I really want. Like, I've not been doing too bad. I've had Spike O'Sullivan on. I've had Maxie Hughes. I've had Jay Harris. Big up to Jay. He's cool. Jay Harris, a real cool guy. I've had all them guys on, so I'm not doing too bad. I just like to get more because it's like they say, steel sharpens steel. On Sporting Icons as well. I forgot Sporting Icons. It's like they say, steel sharpens steel. So, like, the more interviews I get, the better I think I'll get at doing it. I think I'm not too bad, not to toot my, I always don't want to come across as arrogant, but I think I'm not too bad at doing interviews, but I definitely need to do more. I don't do enough. Like, I haven't interviewed anyone since November. And I've tried, but it's just not the most straightforward. Hopefully soon I'll get someone on. I have an idea. Well, I've actually been talking to someone who said they'd be up for it. It's just they need to sort out dates. So there's that. But yeah, steel sharpens steel, as they say. Oh, I seen. I mean, oh, mate, that is just... So why did he fight Derevchenko then when everything was still going on and he was happy to get in the ring with him and fight him? Everything was still going on. Why did you fight Derevchenko and why won't you fight Benavidez without that? Why you forced him to take something like that, It just... Oh, lads, want a point. Love Boxing TV. How are you, G? Interview a lot harder than it looks, than they look. They are. Big up to Love Box TV. For those who don't know, right? I was on their channel. We all done a Zoom call there a few days ago. Uploaded the video today on their channel. Go check it out. Love Boxing TV. Sat in my bedroom. It was fun. We had fun. And hopefully I'll do that again with you guys. But big up to those guys. Definitely give that video a shout. It's on my community tab. If you're not already subscribed to Love Boxing TV, definitely give them a check. Because I like their style. Their style is great and it was good fun. Definitely give them a look. 100% give those guys a look. Definitely. Links on my community tab. If anyone wants to go over when we finish up here, give it a go. Definitely give it a go. Irish Tom. I remember Irish Tom. Yeah. There's a lot. It's mad how many channels kind of just fell by the wayside, and some of them were good channels, definitely. Some of them were real good channels. They just fell by the wayside. The last time Don King put on a good show, social media didn't even exist. Christ, the internet was barely up and running. Yeah, like when Don King was putting on his own shows, and like, because like when he put on Wilder Stavern, that was with Golden Boy, I think. That was definitely, I think Wilder was still with Golden Boy. He put on a show in 2015, but literally it may as well have been behind closed doors because there was no cameras or anything in on it. And then he puts this one on in 2021. I mean, there was a few YouTubers in 2015, but there was no footage of any of that fight, so you couldn't say anything to it. And the last real meaningful show he would have put on would have been probably, 2008, 2009? Was there even any YouTubers back then? So, yeah, man, Don King, I'd say it was a shock to his system that people were actually talking about, oh, and you can picture Don King in that accent. They're showing my fights. How dare they? How dare they? Because I want to rob. And you tell Don King, yeah, that usually, like literally, if you get 500 views on a video like that, you might make a quit. Literally, you might make a quit. That's a dollar in my pocket. That's $1 out of my pocket. I'm copyrighting them. Like I said, poor Dell, Blue Collar Sports, Don King iced them. You know, the poor lad still hasn't been able to sleep soundly at night, wondering, is that knock on the door going to be Don King and his boys? Oh, man. Incredibly, Bob is still going strong after all these years. Yeah, I mean, Bob Arum is pushing 90. He's got to be pushing 90 now, Bob Arum. And he is still, like, he really, God knows what Bob Arum is doing, but he's still going. He is still going. A big up Bob Arum. I like listening to Bob Arum because he's funny. His interviews do be funny. I think most quit YouTube. I think most YouTubers quit as the effort they're putting in isn't worth the reward, whether it's financial, time, or motivating. See, I don't get that. Like, it doesn't take me that long to do videos, to be honest with you. I enjoy the interaction. I enjoy everything about it. I enjoy the streams, so it doesn't bother me. And I think that, like, for boxing as a sport, like, it's not the biggest sport in the world, so you can't expect things to happen overnight. You know, you just can't. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. But it's a slow grind. Like, it took me 2 years to get. Yeah, about this time 2 years ago, I had 300 subscribers. I've 3,500 now, so it takes a while. Yo, big up, Jono. Big Boys Boxing. Shout out to you, man. Big up to Big Boys every time. That's another good channel I forgot to mention. Don King needs to start digging a hole. I don't even think Don King. I don't think there's any. Don King. I don't know, Jono. Don King is just he needs to be back on The Simpsons. That was funny. Lucius Sweet. Hello. Do you ever see that episode of The Simpsons? They summed Don King up perfectly, didn't they? When Moe saves Homer. And what's the Mike Tyson in The Simpsons? Dredrick Tatum. He's like, Homer, your manager obviously loves you very much. Lucius, would you do that for me? Oh, absolutely, I would. And they get in the van. Just proper sums up Don King. Any chance of oh yeah. Any chance of the death KO Coogan impression? See, he doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't do it, thank God. I don't have to listen to, is your death keeping you up at night? Is your death causing you sleepless nights? Jesus, whatever about any of the other ads like William Hill and all that, that was the worst. It's like, is your death causing you sleepless nights? No. And I love the way, like, he came from, like, 365, William Hill, all the gambling websites too. Is your death causing you sleepless nights? KO your death. I can't do Coogan's accent, but you know what I mean. That's kind of a East London accent. Homer comes out the white. Yeah, I remember that. Why can't we be friends? Yeah. And they said, how are you going to win this fight? And he's thinking, yeah, he'll just have a heart attack or something. Thoughts on Thor wanting Tyson Fury? Had Thor Bjornsson? I mean, Jesus Christ, good luck. Yeah, good luck with that, mate. I think that's maybe a bit of just clout chasing there on his end. I watch channels from 10K to near 80K. It's crazy. Yeah, man, it's crazy how some of them can go. They just gain consistency, I think, is just the best way to be. When I subbed to Hatman, I think he was on like 6, maybe 8,000. I think it was about 8,000. He's on 70,000 now. It's mad the way it just happens. You don't even notice it sometimes. You know, when you start getting into the teens, that's when I think things just start kind of rolling, to be honest with you. Yeah, Don King. Yeah, yeah. One was justifiable homicide. I think it was over. I think it, no one. Yeah, it was justifiable homicide. I think the first was it was a shooting, and the other one he kicked the guy to death. And I think it was real self-defense. Amazing, isn't it? Like 2 people. That is crazy. John, you didn't cover that fight, didn't you? I don't think you did anyway. I think you and me got away with the Don King apocalypse of him copywriting people. Don is Don. I'm just sick of him stopping fights happening. Well, he stopped the fight we all wanted to see. Lovejoy versus Allen. We all wanted to see that fight. G-Man, who do you think will win Fury AJ? I think Fury. What about you? I'm with you there. I think Fury's going to win. Personally, I'm got Tyson Fury. Some people have said it's going to be an easy fight, lads. Cannot see it being an easy fight at all. No way. But I've got Fury in that fight. Personally, just personally, I think it's going to be Fury to win. Wouldn't rule out AJ, not in the slightest. Definitely think he can do it. But for me, I'm rocking with Fury. All right. Now, lads, quick one. I'm calling it here. All right. We been on for a little over an hour, right? An hour and 12. So I'm going to call it here. Going to go and record a couple of vids for some of you guys tomorrow. But I want to actually read that tweet there because that tweet, I want to read that message there. Remember when G-Man called it? I remember when, no, I didn't call out anyone. Remember when AJ called out Bentley Coogan for saying that this is real AJ when he went on that bad man tweet? Oh, man. I was only on Tyen Boots T-Shop, is it? Because you get that for over 10k subs. And he has like Michelle Hoare Phelps t-shirts, Bentley Coogan t-shirts. And I was thinking, could you imagine like buying a Michelle Hoare Phelps t-shirt and wearing it to the gym? The stares you would get would be brilliant. But lads, yeah, as Tommy says there, I am going to call it. I do want to see Jared Anderson this weekend. Jared Anderson is a shout of a prospect. But I think this stream went well. I think the stream went very well. Had some good fun. Didn't get any names massively wrong. You know, didn't make a show of myself like I did Sunday because I really fucked up Sunday. As Nick, I'm sure, will testify that I really made a howler on Sunday with some names. But other than that, I've been well behaved, been good. And yeah, I don't know if I'll do another stream this week. I may or may not. Maybe do one tomorrow or Friday. I don't know. But as usual, as is the custom, we do it Sunday evening. Sunday evening, 6 o'clock. We all, you know, we get the G-Man stream going. So, lads, I'm going to call it quits here as DRD. I've already got, see, I've already done it. You put, like, I've got the jinx. I think you mentioned said person's name and I've already fecked up your name. I called you D. Smash the like button on the way out. Peace. Yeah. Big up to Kira because I keep getting that name wrong. Jab the like button. Shout out to everyone. Lads, I'll get some videos for you tomorrow. Peace, lads. Have a great evening. Good week. Shout out to all yous. Peace.